Hi, it's Anton from Next Place, and in these series of video interviews that we're doing, I'm pleased to welcome and have a chat with Lee Bates, who's on one side of me, depends on
Good morning.
how this records. Hi, Lee, how you doing?
Yeah, fine, thank you.
So I come across Lee in a couple of groups that he's doing through one of the other community support groups that's set up on Facebook. You may have seen the video with Alex Hugginson that I've recorded, but I've got in touch with Lee on the back end of that. Because I saw a telephone number that was on that group, and here he is. He's happy to come along and have a chat about what Lee's doing for Tamworth pre and post COVID. So Lee, thanks for joining us today.
No, thank you for the opportunity.
No problem at all. After having a quick chat with you and hearing some of the things that you're doing in the community, I was astonished really, because although I've come across Lee Bates before, I didn't know about the group and the community that's been set up. So could you just tell me a bit about what you've done, your background, where we're at today, and what's happened in between?
Okay, so the organisation that I'm part of is called Community Together, and that was set up back in 2011. In my previous life, I used to be a borough councillor and a county councillor in Tamworth, which was a fantastic opportunity to find out about local communities and meet some fantastic people. And we set up a project initially in Tamworth called Community Cafe, which started out as an intergenerational project where we're bringing older residents and younger residents together and to break down some of those barriers. The project just seemed to sort of grow and grow, and it came to a point where I needed to decide which role did I want to do. So I decided to work on the community cafe side, and that's what we've been sort of doing ever since. And that's kind of then expanded into providing a whole range of health and wellbeing activities across the Tamworth area. We provide activities from Robert Peel Community Hospital, Belgrave Fire Station, Sacred Heart Church, and we've got a centre in Tamworth Castle Grounds as well.
Okay.
And we do a wide range of activities. So before COVID came along, we were doing walking, cycling groups, seated exercise classes, healthy cooking sessions, befriending lunches, arts and crafts sessions, digital IT support, job club support,
Wow.
youth clubs, so a whole range of different activities. So what we're known as a holistic organisation, so we support people of all ages, and our motto is we want people to grow well, live well and age well. So obviously, due to the current circumstances, we had to close all those activities down, and how kind of this group came about was because we'd originally noticed that because we were doing activities from Sir Robert Peel Hospital and Belgrave Fire Station, they were the first sort of establishments, if you like, to stop external activities from going in and doing activities, obviously for obvious reasons. So we then noticed that people who were accessing our services at those places couldn't all, we thought people would be able to come to the castle grounds, but then through mobility issues or disabilities, and that wasn't possible. So we noticed straight away that all of a sudden there was a group of people who were isolated as a result of that closing. So we decided to set up originally, say, well, actually we'll do a telephone service for befriending and support, and then Tamworth is a brilliant place. It does partnership working really well. So all of a sudden we were contacted by a local councillor, Councillor Paul Brindley, who said, can we work together? And then kind of we've got already good connections with the Borough Council and the County Council and other organisations in Tamworth, like Home Start, who come on board, and Heart of Tamworth Charity and Sacred Heart Church, etc. So we all sort of come together to form a partnership, which has developed into this Tamworth self-isolation support group.
Wow. Okay. So before we get into the isolation support group, so I was amazed at all the activities that you did already let's just go pre and post COVID-19 here. So I was surprised at the amount of activities that you were doing for the community pre all this. How many people were you servicing just with those activities pre this COVID-19? Whether it's a weekly or monthly basis, I don't know.
Yeah, so when you take all those activities that happen on a weekly basis, week in, week out, we'd easily come in contact with about 1,000 people a week through those activities.
Well, that's absolutely amazing. And how are you delivering those? Have you got a group of people that do, and you?
Yeah, so we're very heavily reliant on volunteers in supporting all those activities. So without a fantastic volunteer team, none of it would happen in the first place. So we've got some wonderful and fantastic volunteers, people who have been service users that then go on to volunteering themselves.
Wow, okay.
People who've got want to come forward and give something back to their community. So we've got a really good spread of volunteers and who do a fantastic job, and none of which would happen without them.
Brilliant. How many have you got, or how many did you have in that?
So before coronavirus, we had 54 volunteers who were giving up the time each week to support those activities.
Well, that's fantastic. And I understand that you're funded through fundraising and lottery grants. Is that right?
Yeah, so we so in terms of funding, we try and fundraise ourselves. We also have applied for grants. One of our biggest funders is Big Lottery, who support us, and yeah, so it's sort of keep the wheels turning and sort of trying to support the volunteers and make sure that those activities continue.
That's amazing. So we've gone from sort of 1,000 service users a week and 50 odd volunteers pre-COVID. Obviously, we're in lockdown right now, so we're recording this on the 16th of April, 3 weeks into, or 3.5 weeks into lockdown. So your service has changed from delivering all these things at all those places that you've just said. What services have been added? What's changed? So you mentioned about the phone line as well. So what are the services that you're delivering now, and how many people have you got delivering that for you?
Yeah, so through so one thing, when we talked about offering sort of a telephone line service, we noticed we've got the infrastructure as an organisation to be able to deliver that, and also being able to support volunteers and work with volunteers, etc. So we were able to, from the first instance, through the partnership, pull on volunteers from our own organisation, but also from Heart of Tamworth and Sacred Heart Church, and then people who were coming forward from the community to offer their services to come and help. So we're able to pull on that sort of resource straight away. So at the moment, we've got 104 sort of volunteers that are actively supporting the partnership.
Wow. I paused.
And then we were able to set up a phone line, which is supported by 6 people. So when people call through to that main number, it goes through to 6 people who take the initial call.
Okay. Could we just rewind slightly, because I think we had an internet problem then. So.
Okay, yeah. I didn't know you do musical statue. So they went froze.
So you set up the phone line. You set up the phone line.
Yeah. So we set up the phone line. So essentially, how that works is that people phone through to the main number, and they get through to the 6 members of the team that answer those incoming calls. But they then then put people in touch with the best way we can help. So obviously, one of those main ones is food supply and giving people access to food. So there's various means in which we do that. We supply emergency food packages for people who are perhaps struggling financially, or perhaps might find it difficult at the moment. And then we're also putting people in touch with like food delivery services like Morrison's, and the Co-op in Tamworth are doing they're doing priority deliveries for us for
are they?
And then there's also like Food Bank. We're working with Food Bank very closely. So people who normally access Food Bank who are isolating at the moment, we're also doing their deliveries. We're delivering food for them as well. So there's various different ways we can try and support people to get access to food within the local community. And we've got a central food hub, which is set up at Sacred Heart Church, where all our food supplies are, and that's how we make up the boxes, etc. So that's the food side. Then there's obviously prescriptions, people picking up medications, etc. So in Tamworth, there's Spring Farm Pharmacy who are doing a lot of deliveries, and people can temporarily transfer the prescription to them whilst they're isolating, or with people who have already ordered prescriptions and are sitting there waiting to be collected. We've been going out and collecting those and delivering them to people. But we've also noticed as well that the specialist prescriptions as well. So we've made good connections with Sir Robert Peel Community Hospital, because there's certain medications that can only be dispensed via Sir Robert Peel, as opposed to a regular pharmacy. So they're vulnerable, most vulnerable. We're also helping them to get their access to their medications as well. And then the other part of the service is befriending. So we have a team of telephone volunteers.
Lost you again, Lee. I lost you again then, Lee. Sorry about the team of people. That's right, the team of people that were on the phones.
Oh, bless. So where did we get up to? Was it the
Yeah, you got a team of 6 people that are on the phones.
Oh, right, okay. So we've got a team of 6 people on the phones. They answer the initial call, and then did I go through a bit about the types of support that we offer? So food support.
No, missed that when you paused at that point.
No problem. So in terms of how we can help, then one of those is a big one of those is food, getting people access to food and food supplies, and there's various ways that we can do that. So one is that we can deliver an emergency food package, and that's for people who are vulnerable, who are struggling financially, who can't afford to get access to food. So we supply those. We're also then putting people in touch who can afford food to delivery services. So we've got an arrangement with the co-op in Tamworth who are doing special priority deliveries for us at the moment. Morrison's, and then working with the food bank as well. So I don't know if we got that.
Yeah, we got the food bank. Just time for a walk.
Yeah. So then there's medications. Did we get food?
Yeah, got medication. So there's just a couple of things I want to bring up on that, actually, on those two things. Is the medication. So we've done one of these previously with a group that's doing it in Polesworth. You mentioned about Springbank Pharmacy doing temporary deliveries, but having to go and pick up drugs or specific prescriptions from Robert Peel. They had the issue when there was nothing like that in Polesworth, so they had to get accredited and had to get ID and things from the council. Is that did your group already have that, or is that something that?
So going back to what I said at the beginning, so Community Together have the experience of working with volunteers.
Okay.
So we had that infrastructure in place already in terms of safeguarding and vetting volunteers coming through the service. So we're providing that support for all the volunteers. So they've all got ID badges, letters of consent, and all the rest of it. So we've. So it was good that we had that in place, so we could instantly sort of recruit those volunteers.
Excellent. Oh, that's fantastic, because I know that's one of the things that Paul struggled with, is they couldn't go and pick up prescriptions for people.
Sure.
Obviously, you're already over that. It sounds like an absolutely amazing group that you've got set up. I'm a Wilnecote resident, and I know you've done loads of stuff in Wilnecote. So as I mentioned, I've seen you knocking around doing various different things, but I didn't even know this thing existed. So I'm sorry, I lost
That's
you.
all right.
So I didn't even know this thing existed, it's really opened my eyes since I've been doing these things of what's available. What struggles have you got at the minute, and how can people donate, or what can people out there in the community do for you right now, and hopefully going forward too?
Yeah, so food donations, we can arrange for those to be collected from the doorstep. So if anybody wants to get in touch to the main phone number, which is the 01827 59646, we can arrange for that to be, if anybody wants to donate any food for our food hub, etc. And if anybody wants to consider being a telephone volunteer, or help doing any deliveries, then we're always open. I think kind of as the lockdown continues, the demand increases. So we're finding that obviously the longer it goes on, the more people are coming forward saying that they can.
Are any of you volunteers having to self-isolate as well? Are they in that category?
So a lot of our volunteers, to be fair, quite a few of them were sort of in that sort of vulnerability group, so need to self-isolate.
Well,
obviously we're supporting them as well, during this time, and particularly the people we work with as well, our service users accessing our services as well. We're very much keeping in contact with.
Okay, fantastic. So essentially, you still need volunteers, you still need donations, whether it's food or hygiene products or whatever. We've got an interview going on with the hygiene bank, which I know partners with the food bank.
There is a Just Giving page as well. So the Tamworth Self-Isolation Support Group.
Okay.
On Just Giving.
Fantastic. Well, what we'll do is when we post this video, I'll put a link to the group and to the Just Giving page in there as well, so people can watch this and can hopefully donate. So, well, Lee, I mean, it's been awesome to speak to you.
Thank you.
Thank you for what you're doing in the community right now. I will do my bit and get this out so people are aware that you're actually there. I know after our initial conversation yesterday that I spoke to somebody that knew somebody that was vulnerable, and I've passed on your details to them. Again, I didn't even know this service existed, so if I don't, then probably lots of other people don't as well. So let's make this available and get it out there, and so the community know what you're actually offering. Because if we can get more people using it, then hopefully we can get more grants, and that may assist the whole community going forward.
Oh, no, that's fantastic. Thanks for the opportunity. I think kind of the one thing I love about Tamworth is it always comes together in no matter what, and there's so many different groups and people that have come forward during this period that it's really heartwarming to see that community response. So it's not it's sort of it really is feels like that team effort. Everybody working together,
yep,
supporting each other through this difficult time.
Yeah, I agree, and thanks for doing what you do within the community, Lee. I think without people like yourself, then a lot of this stuff wouldn't be or couldn't be delivered, and would probably just be a rudderless ship, I guess, with people doing what they can to help. But at least there's some coordination, and it's organised. So thanks for that, Lee.
No problem. It's a team effort.
Okay, well, thank you to you for leading it,
right,
and thank you for all the team that are behind you, and all the army of volunteers that you've got for doing what they do and keeping us all going.
Thank you very much. Thank you,
Lee. Thanks, and let's get this video out there, and let's get people knowing about your service and get using.
Thank you.